After a grueling 24-hour marathon to secure orders worth $3 million, I took a mere 15-minute restroom break. That afternoon, a notification for a $150 fine pinged on my phone. I brushed it off, only to be fired the next morning for non-payment. I stormed into the CEO's office to confront my fiancé, but his assistant Lily cut me off with a sneer. Restroom breaks are for the lazy. Everyone else manages in 10 minutes. Why can't you? To my shock, my fiancé sided with her. You are a senior manager, Anna. You must be punished strictly to set an example. I walked out, but through the gaps in the blinds, I saw their silhouettes embrace. The betrayal turned my shock into cold resolve. I immediately dialed the owner of our rival company. I had $3 million in contracts, and I was ready to make a deal. Any requests? Does your company have time limits for bathroom breaks? A hearty, disbelief-filled laugh burst from the other end of the line. Anna, are you kidding me? What kind of psychopath times bathroom breaks? Send your resume over. I will arrange a spot for you. Within seconds, Harry sent over a formal offer link. It was for the vice president position. Is vice president okay, or should I just step aside and yield the chief executive officer position to you? You are a veteran at Tom's company, having been with him since the grand opening. I have tried to poach you dozens of times before, and you refuse. What happened this time? Did you fight with him? I cut him off, my voice laced with irritation. That is not something you should worry about. What you should be thinking about is whether these $3 million orders can take your company from the eternal runner-up spot to number one absolutely crushing Tom. Harry's voice came through clear, ringing with unbridled ambition. Forget the orders. If Tom's company does not have you, who is he? He is nothing. I finalized the onboarding information and forwarded the contracts detailing the 2 orders. Pleasure doing business, then. Harry, realizing the gravity of the situation and seeing that I was not joking, finally asked with a serious tone. Anna, if you are sincerely coming to my company, I welcome you warmly. But if this is just a tactic, because you are angry at Tom, I advise you to think carefully. I do not want to hand over the vice president position only to be stabbed in the back. A tactic. Right now, my heart is stone cold. Anyone would feel humiliated hearing that a senior manager was fired just for staying in the restroom 10 minutes too long. Moreover, the decision came from the fiancé I have loved for 3 years and was about to marry. Not to mention I co-founded that company with him and grew it to the number 1 spot in the industry today. A chill settled over me, but the logic was undeniable. Tom's preferential treatment of Lily had given me a hunch long ago. I never joke about work. I am clearing out my desk. I will start tomorrow. After hanging up, Harry still could not believe it, his messages continuing to ping my phone in disbelief. I shoved my belongings into a box, ignoring the buzzing notifications on my phone when the office speakers crackled to life. Lily's voice, dripping with unearned authority, echoed through the room. Anna, phones must be on silent during work hours. Violation fine $30. The office fell dead silent. Every pair of eyes bore into me. I ignored the stares and kept packing, but Lily marched out of the office, her heels clicking aggressively against the floor. Anna, did you not hear me? CEO Tom graciously paid the fine for you. Why are you not following company rules? I offered a cold, emotionless smile. The absurdity was laughable. Why would a fired employee care about company policy? The commotion drew Tom out. He sauntered over, leaning in close to whisper a conspiratorial edge to his voice. The little girl made the rules. I cannot break them in front of her. But I paid for you. You do not have to leave. My gaze hardened. I tossed my badge onto the table. It clattered loudly in the quiet office. No need. If you do not fire me, I resign myself. I quit. I grabbed my luggage to leave, but Tom stepped in my path, his face darkening. He raised his voice, ensuring the whole room heard his critique. Anna, stop throwing a tantrum. Lily made these rules to bind everyone, he insisted. Is the company atmosphere not great now? I rolled my eyes. Great. Just now someone was complaining in the group chat, Sales staff on business trips are forced into hard seat trains and $10 a night youth hostels. Client dinners are restricted to street food stalls. I did not let him interrupt, because the dining reimbursement is capped at $40, not a penny more. Tom, you indulge her thinking she is saving costs, but your team is suffering. They are negotiating contracts worth millions, yet they cannot expense a respectable meal. I scoffed, my voice cutting through the tension. Lily is great, is she? A meal for $40. I think she has the brain capacity of a $40 calculator. And worse, stupid Tom actually approved it. Lately, I have been traveling constantly, but now there are bathroom limits twice a day, 10 minutes each. Your company will collapse sooner or later. Lily tried to shove the fine notice into my hand. I let it flutter to the floor, ignored the accusation, and walked out the door for the last time. I retreated to my apartment and slept off the exhaustion until late afternoon. Seeking some comfort, I prepared a meal for myself, but just as I set the dishes down, the lock clicked. Tom waltzed in with Lily in tow, and they sat at my table as if they owned the place. My voice dropped to a chill. I cooked this for myself. What are you two doing here? Tom scowled. Did you not see my texts? I checked my phone. After a month of radio silence, since hiring Lily today brought a barrage of notifications from him, every single one revolving around her. He accused me of humiliating him, claimed my actions made Lily cry, and finally issued an ultimatum, apologize, or the wedding was off. You humiliated Lily in front of everyone, he insisted. She clearly did nothing wrong. She acted for the good of the company. I brought her here so you could apologize properly over a nice meal. His eyes locked onto the green flecks in the soup. A look of pure disgust twisted his face, fueling my rage. Did I not tell you Lily hates cilantro? Are you blind? Pick every piece out immediately. Ignoring me, he plucked a piece of meat, blew on it tenderly, to cool it down and fed it to her. This is Anna's specialty. Taste it. Lily chewed slowly, maintaining a pout. The rice is mediocre, but unless she apologizes in front of the entire company, I will not forgive her. If she breaks rules like that, how can I manage the staff later? Tom jabbed a finger in my face. You heard her. Apologize to Lily, or forget about returning to work. I might even cancel the engagement. We had made a solemn vow when we fell in love never to threaten a breakup in anger. Yet lately he dangled our relationship over my head constantly, all for her sake. They continued flirting, right in front of me. I gripped my phone so hard the screen nearly cracked. There is indeed something that needs to be picked out, you two. My voice trembled with suppressed rage. Tom, take your mistress and get the hell out. You keep a mistress and bring her to the company to flirt. What do I have to apologize for? If the engagement is canceled, consider yourself dumped. Tom's face went rigid. Your attitude is appalling. This is our newlywed home. You want to kick me out? I stared him down stone-faced. This is my house. Grab your assistant and get out. Lily scoffed, her face twisting into a smug sneer as she stood up. You dare kick me out. Do you know who I know, I will tell you? I am connected to the famous investor, Mr. S. She paused for dramatic effect. Now get on your knees and apologize to me, and I might put in a good word for you with him. Tom's tone turned nasty. You heard her, Anna. Kneel and apologize to Lily immediately. The company is counting on her. I slammed the door in their faces without blinking. I do not care who you know. The company is no longer my concern. And then Lily was so furious she could barely breathe. Silence finally returned to the house, but the meal before me was tainted by their presence. I lost my appetite and left to find dinner elsewhere. While waiting for my food, I scrolled past Tom's latest social media post. Anna, I am telling you, if you do not publicly apologize to Lily, our engagement is canceled. I rolled my eyes and blocked him instantly. However, I had not yet left the small company group chat. By the next morning, the gossip mill was churning. Someone posted that Tom and Lily had exited the same car, wearing the exact same clothes as the day before. Another colleague confirmed they were seen entering a hotel, together complete with photographic evidence of the affair. I severed the last digital tie to them exiting the group chat, before walking into Harry's headquarters. I refused to let their toxicity bleed into my new beginning. Harry had a private office waiting, but his face betrayed shock when I walked in. "You actually showed up. I was terrified I would be staring at an empty desk." I didn't waste time with pleasantries. I slid the folders across the mahogany desk. 2 major orders, signed and sealed. Harry's eyes lit up with a predatory hunger as he took the files. "The annual industry review is approaching. Whether we take the number 1 spot depends entirely on you, Anna. Rest assured, with your support, our company will definitely surpass the Taw family this year." I nodded, feeling the weight of 3 years of cumulative customer trust backing me up. By that afternoon, I had successfully closed another contract. Stepping out into the lobby, the air turned heavy. Tom stood there, his arm draped possessively around Lily. He pulled away the moment he saw me rushing over to spin a narrative. "I know people in the group chat were talking this morning. Do not overthink it. Lily's house flooded, so as her boss, I merely let her stay over." "Who are you kidding?" I scoffed, not breaking stride. "Even a blind person could see you slept together last night." I tried to sidestep them, but Tom blocked my path, his tone shifting to one of arrogant benevolence. "Anna, I know you are desperate to come back. Lily drafted a proposal. If you help her sign the contract, I will reinstate you." I let out a cold, sharp laugh. "You are thinking too much. I do not intend to help her." Tom sighed, dropping the act for a hypocrisy that made my stomach turn. "Lily just graduated and has no experience negotiating projects. Helping her would count as your apology for yesterday. Stop being stubborn. Just close the contract, and I will let you back into the company. Our engagement will remain." We were operating on completely different frequencies. I tried to push past him, but Lily's shrill voice pierced the air. She pointed a manicured finger at the document in my hand. "Is that not the project contract I just drafted? You dare steal someone else's labor?" She shoved a proposal at Tom, feigning tears and outrage. "I stayed up 2 nights working on this, and she stole it." I stared at the papers in her hand. It was my proposal, a project I had submitted for approval before leaving the company. I was the lead author. After I left, the project was abandoned, and she had blatantly swapped the name on the cover to her own. I opened my mouth to defend myself, but Tom did not ask a single question. The sting of his palm against my cheek shattered the world. He slapped me hard, his face twisted with hatred. "Lily only fined you according to company rules, and you go and steal her project. No wonder you refused to help her earlier. Anna, you disgust me. Were all your previous collaborations obtained by stealing too?" My cheek burned like fire. I glared at Tom in disbelief. I had dedicated 3 years to building his empire while Lily was a fresh graduate. How could he believe I was the thief? He snatched the proposal from my hand and signaled the security guards. "Pin her down." Strong hands forced me to the cold pavement in front of the public, yanking my hair back painfully. Tom's voice was ice. "And, this is the apology you owe Lily." I struggled, but the grip was iron tight. They forced my head down, making me bow to Lily over and over again. Only when Lily gave a satisfied nod did he order them to release me. My scalp throbbed, bleeding in places, but the nightmare was not over. Lily stood over me, her sharp heel hovering over the back of my hand. "Anna, I despise thieves like you the most. You think an apology is enough." She brought her full weight down. The stiletto heel dug into my flesh, crushing the hand I used to sign millions in contracts. "A thief like you? Your hand should be crippled." The pain was blinding, a white-hot spike that made my vision swim and my head buzz. I whispered Tom's name, begging the man who once treated my smallest scratches like emergencies to pull me away. But Tom watched with cold indifference, his face showing only disgust. "No wonder your dad divorced your mom," he sneered. "You inherited all her low-class habits. Our engagement was secretly negotiated by your mother and my family anyway. Like mother, like daughter, I will absolutely not marry a thief. Anna, our engagement ends here." He turned his back on me, walking away decisively. My heart, already torn, was now completely devastated. The person who once loved me because I had no family now used my loneliness as a weapon. I felt foolish for hoping, even for a second, that he would help me. Lily crouched down, waving the stolen proposal and a phone recording her assault. The project and Tom are both mine. Anna, I am warning you, if you want to fight me, I will let everyone see you kneeling at my feet, lower than a dog. Darkness swallowed me as the pain became too much to bear, and I lost consciousness. A passerby eventually rushed me to the hospital, leaving me unsure of how long I lay broken on the ground. When I drifted back to consciousness, Harry was keeping a silent vigil by my bedside, his eyes masking a deep, simmering sorrow. I whispered a request for 2 days to recover from the assault. Harry nodded immediately, his jaw set. Take the time. The industry review is in 3 days. We are going to pull the Ta family down from their pedestal. The day of reckoning arrived. Harry and I took our seats in the front row. Tom spotted us instantly and paraded Lily over, unable to resist a chance to gloat. Anna, you stole Lily's project, and this is where you end up sitting with the company that is forever second place. Even if you were fired, you should have picked a decent landing spot. Oh wait, my company is number 1? I suppose there is nowhere better. Lily chimed in, her voice dripping with arrogance. Just wait until the Ta family secures the top spot and partners with the investor. You two can watch us dominate the market while you go home to eat dirt. I looked at them, feeling a wave of nausea. After canceling our engagement, Tom did not even bother to hide his infidelity, openly embracing Lily before the entire industry. Lily is leagues above you, he sneered. She easily drafted a new cross-state cooperation plan with City A. You will not have a chance to steal credit this time. A dark amusement bubbled within me. He could not possibly be talking about the rejected draft I had crumpled up and thrown in the trash. Could he? I never realized. Lily had a hobby of dumpster diving. If Tom actually deployed that flawed plan, I just had to sit back and watch the inevitable train wreck. Surrounding us, other CEOs rushed to flatter Tom. Why even hold this ceremony with CEO Tom? Here the top spot is already spoken for. Exactly, another sycophant agreed. The Best Enterprise Award is a mere formality for the Ta family, and with the high chance of investment from him, your status will only skyrocket. They cast dismissive glances at Harry and me. Sitting in the front row is useless if you do not have the numbers. This game relies on ability, not seeding charts. The praise acted like a drug to Tom. He stood tall, basking in the adoration like a king ascending his throne. Harry and I sat in stoic silence, unaffected. The winner was still an unknown variable. The lights dimmed, and the master of ceremonies took the stage. As the announcer began to speak, Tom stood up and started walking toward the podium. Before his name was even called, arrogant enough to assume victory was guaranteed. He turned back to shoot a dismissive hand gesture at Harry. But then the MC's voice boomed through the auditorium, stunning the crowd into silence. Congratulations to Harry for achieving the top industry title this year and receiving the exclusive opportunity to negotiate with Chairman Steve. Tom froze on the stairs. His mind went blank as Harry's name echoed in the hall. Harry rose and walked past him, a gentle smile on his lips, but his eyes burning with triumph and contempt. He leaned in, whispering softly, CEO Tom, sorry we took the number 1 spot this year, but rest assured you will never surpass us again. After all, you threw away your ace with your own 2 hands. Now can you move? I have to accept my award. Tom stumbled back, dazed, allowing Harry to take the stage. Moments later, the shock wore off, replaced by frantic denial. He rushed over to corner me. Anna, did you pull some trick? How can my company not be number 1? He stared wildly at the revenue data on the big screen. Did you steal my projects and give them to him? I remained silent, watching him unravel. Tom interpreted my silence as guilt and grew louder, demanding a re-audit of both companies' revenue. Backstage whispers of annoyance rippled through the staff. Is he serious? When he was winning, he never asked for an audit. Now that he lost, he cannot handle it. What a sore loser. Tom's face flushed from pale white to a humiliated red. The sycophants who had flattered him moments ago immediately turned their backs, switching their allegiance to Harry. CEO, Tom accept defeat with some dignity. The gap is not small. This is just embarrassing. Harry spoke into the microphone, his voice calm. I do not mind. If CEO Tom needs a check, let him check so he can accept his loss convincingly. The audit results flashed rapidly on the screen. Tom scanned the data, desperate for a flaw, but the numbers were ironclad. He was about to collapse in defeat when Lily suddenly pointed a shaking finger at the screen. There is a problem with those two projects. CEO Tom clearly approved them. Why are they listed under Harry's company? Tom grabbed onto the accusation like a lifeline. Anna, what do you have to deny now? I calmly pulled out my phone and projected the project archive to the screen, complete with real-time timestamps. I planned and negotiated these two projects myself. Moreover, I had already left the Ta family by the time they were signed. Lily did the math quickly and screamed, You were still an employee then. You had not been fired yet. Those orders belong to us. Tom hugged Lily, finding a renewed target for his rage. Even if I canceled the engagement, you cannot take orders worth $3 million and gift them to your little lover. The auditorium began to murmur against me, swayed by his narrative. I silenced them by playing the backup surveillance video. When I brought this project to Tom for approval, he was too busy teaching Lily how to use the office software behind the curtains to even sign it. I negotiated the contract myself, and I was fired before I could file it. These two projects are entirely mine. The video played on the giant screen, clearly showing their silhouettes entangled in the office while I worked. Lily and Tom frantically demanded the screen be turned off. Choked with rage and exposed as adulterers, they turned to flee. Harry stopped them cold. You two are done slandering us. Now let us talk about the project you stole from Anna, shall we? He produced the original draft proposal and blueprints. This project is a contract Anna signed with the Viet Phong Group, yet you counted it towards your revenue. Should this not be returned to us? Tom, stripped of all dignity, shouted, That is Lily's project. Anna stole it from us. Harry held out his hand. Does CEO Tom have any drafts as proof? Lily, did you not say you stayed up 2 nights working on this show? Everyone the proof. Lily looked guilty, but tried to bluff. Only a thief like her saves drafts. I always do my work perfectly, in one go. The entire hall erupted into mocking laughter. I smiled, stepping forward. You mean to tell us you created over 50 pages of documents and 40 slides in one go without a single draft? I do not have one. Lily leaned in close to me, dropping her voice to a vicious whisper. Anna, I told you, if you dare fight for this project, I will spread ugly photos of you all over the internet. I immediately hit play on the surveillance video from the day of the assault, which had captured her threat clearly. Luckily, the company installed cameras with audio recording. Your voice is crystal clear. Lily had no cards left to play. She fled the hall in a panic. Tom, realizing he had been played for a fool by her incompetence, shot me a look of pure hatred before retreating, in disgrace reluctantly admitting Harry had won. I walked out of the hall with Harry to secure our future with the heavyweight investor. Meanwhile, back in the shadows of the corridor, Tom's humiliation boiled over into violence. He cornered Lily, his fingers digging into her throat as he choked her against the wall. Did you not claim you stayed up 2 nights for this project? Lily, you dared to lie to me? Lily's face turned crimson as she clawed at his grip, gasping for air. Tom, let go. I can help you meet Chairman Steve. I have met him a few times. Tom released her, his fists still trembling with rage. If he could bypass Harry and secure a meeting with Chairman Steve, the industry's biggest shark, the loss today would mean nothing. Lily burned through a small fortune to bribe an insider discovering that Mr. S was in the VIP lounge. Since he had booked the entire floor, their only access point was through the adjacent restroom. They knocked and barged in, desperate and disheveled. But they froze in the doorway. I was already there, dining casually with Harry and Chairman Steve. Tom's eyes nearly bulged out of his head. Anna, you met him yesterday. Do you have the nerve to steal this deal too? I let you have the $3 million orders. Why are you still clinging to Mr. S? I stared at them, finding their intrusion utterly ridiculous. Lily stepped forward, desperation dripping from her voice, as she tried to leverage a fleeting connection. Chairman Steve, do you remember me? I met you during my university days. You attended the graduation this year. You were the one who turned my tassel. Tom took this as a sign of deep intimacy. Usually only students with a significant status or connections receive such a gesture. Emboldened, he cut in. Chairman Steve, since you know our Lily, I will be blunt. This woman, Anna, is a fraud. She worked at my company for 3 years. After we broke up, she seduced the owner of a rival company, taking $3 million in contracts with her. He sneered at me before turning his charm back to the investor. Thanks to those underhanded tactics, they took the #1 spot this year. You are new to this region. I do not want to see you deceived. The top spot has always belonged to my company. Chairman Steve raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Is that true? Are they really dating? Seeing a chance to destroy me? Tom spun a wild fabrication. He claimed I stole 3 projects to rig the awards. He even lied that I used a flooded apartment as an excuse to move in with Harry, flirting my way to the top out of spite. He projected every sin he and Lily had committed onto me, painting himself as the innocent victim. My stomach churned. Unable to listen to another word of his filth, I smashed my wine glass against the floor. The crash silenced the room. Enough, Tom, there is a limit to slander. You were the one cheating with Lily. Do not twist black and white here. I turned to the chairman. Do not believe his lies. Steve nodded, a simple gesture that summoned the security staff. Tom panicked, fighting against the guard's grip. Chairman Steve, believe me, they are just trying to trick you into investing. Steve took a sip of wine unbothered. If people want investment, I invest. That is it. Realizing his words were failing, Tom shoved Lily forward like a shield. You do not believe me, but surely you believe, Lily. Lily puffed up her chest, doubling down on the lie. Everything Tom said is true. Anna job hopped and used her body to climb to that position. The temperature in the room seemed to drop 10 degrees. I signaled the waiter to remove them immediately. Tom screamed, Chairman Steve, with the relationship between you and Lily, we do not need to lie to you. What relationship? Steve looked at Lily like she was a stranger, thinking for a long moment. Finally, his assistant whispered in his ear, Sir, she is the student surnamed Anne, sponsored by the group's charity fund. Steve's face darkened instantly. Unhappy, he ordered them expelled. Lily, misreading his recognition as success, shouted over the guards, Chairman Steve, I guarantee with my character that only partnering with the Ta family will make you a profit. Anna is just a promiscuous slut. Her words are not trustworthy. Steve frowned, raising a hand to stop the guards. Lily thought she had persuaded him, but his assistant stepped forward and slapped her across the face with a resounding crack. Chairman Steve's expression was terrifyingly gloomy, his voice low and laced with menace. I have heard enough from you two. Slander has its limits. If I hear one more foul word about my daughter, the previous sponsorship money must be returned immediately, and your company will cease to exist. Tom froze, staring at me blankly as the color drained from his face. He whispered, What Anna is your daughter, but her last name is Chu. I looked him dead in the eye, my expression stone cold. I took my mother's last name. Tom stopped fighting. His world collapsed as the waiters dragged him and Lily out of the room. He kept muttering, How can that be? As the doors closed. In truth, my father had initially flown in just to watch the drama unfold. I had told him I would introduce my boyfriend and discuss business, but Lily's appearance ruined my plan. I did not want him to meet Tom, so I pushed Harry to handle the sales pitch. Yesterday, my dad had grilled me all afternoon, but got nothing. Today, hearing Tom spew such nonsense, he finally understood the full picture. After the meal, Harry presented our company's development direction and profits professionally. I let my father decide on the merits. Seeing good prospects, he signed the check, to inject capital. Before leaving, he pulled Harry aside to talk privately before reluctantly saying goodbye to me. I was so busy making money back then that I neglected you and your mom. I cannot salvage the past, even if I wanted to. Dad is leaving first little do. Call me if you need anything. He switched to a coded channel to speak one last time with Harry. Whether things work out relies on you, little Han. Harry replied solemnly. Uncle, I will definitely try my best. What did he say? I asked after my father left. Harry dropped his smile, his eyes hard. Uncle said he hopes the company grows strong enough to teach Tom a lesson he will never forget. Tom locked himself in his bedroom for 2 days, spiraling into a dark obsession. The silence was broken only by the maddening loop of Harry's voice echoing in his mind. You threw away your ace with your own hands. The more he replayed it, the more his rage curdled into a desperate need to prove him wrong. He had built this company from the ground up. On what basis did Harry claim she was the ace driven by ego? Tom summoned Lily and snatched the proposal she had designed for the Interprovincial Medical Cooperation Project. He ran the numbers on feasibility and profit. A gnawing sense of unease pricked at the back of his mind. Something felt slightly off. But with Harry's company making aggressive moves in the market, he had no time for caution. He suppressed his doubts and flew immediately to Province A. The 7-hour flight felt interminable, but the negotiation itself was suspiciously smooth. It was almost too effortless. He returned with a dangerous swagger. If signing contracts is this easy, why am I paying the sales department a fortune? Adjust their salaries immediately. Cut them by a percentage. The backlash was swift and brutal. Employees unable to survive on the reduced wages resigned in droves. Those who left scorched the earth behind them, posting scathing exposes on recruitment apps. They revealed the toxic reality of working for Tom, timed bathroom breaks, refunds limited to hard seat trains, and client dinners, capped at a measly $40. Tom became so petty that he even cut the office water supply to stop staff from congregating at the cooler. The remaining staff, trapped by a scarce job market, gritted their teeth and endured the misery, waiting for the delivery deadline for City A. Tom stood on the loading dock, watching trucks fill with sensitive medical instruments. He was already spending the money in his head. For this deal, the partner had agreed to pay 3 times the cost price. Initially, Tom calculated that a $10 million contract would be enough to catch up to Harry. Now he realized that if this succeeded, the $30 million payout would allow him to crush his rival completely. He sat by the phone, sweating, in the oppressive 104-degree heat, waiting for the confirmation call. When it finally rang, the voice on the other end turned his blood to ice. Of more than 50 trucks, 2/3 of the reagents spoiled. The temperature control failed. When I heard the news, I could only shake my head at his stupidity. He was blinded by immediate profit. The partner was indeed a large group with a high demand for medical products. But the weather had been relentless, hitting 104 degrees every single day. Even with specialized refrigerated trucks, driving nonstop for over 20 hours in that heat was a suicide mission for delicate chemical reagents. The fallout was catastrophic. Tom's company not only had to absorb the total loss of inventory, but also faced damages for breach of contract. The $10 million advance had already evaporated into production costs, shipping, and keeping the lights on. The compensation fee doubled from $30 million to a staggering $60 million. He had not just failed to make a profit, he had dug a grave he could not climb out of. The company collapsed under the weight of the debt. Unable to make payroll, Tom had to mortgage every asset he had left. Cornered and desperate, he turned on Lily. "This was your idea," Lily shrieked back. "It is not my fault I found that project in Anna's trash can. She set us up on purpose." The illusion shattered completely. In Tom's eyes, Lily was no longer a prize, but a hatefully stupid liability. Consumed by rage, he ordered his men to send her away to a place from which She could never return. In just a few short months, Tom plummeted from the peak of the industry straight into the mud. Harry's words haunted his every waking moment. You threw away your ace with your own hands. Regret gnawed at him daily until he broke. He began kneeling in front of my old apartment, the place that was once our newlywed home, begging for a forgiveness I had no intention of granting. I refused to be entangled with his madness any longer and moved to a new address, leaving him to his ghosts. When stalking my apartment proved futile, Tom escalated to blocking my path at work. Harry, sensing the unhinged look in Tom's eyes, made a serious offer. Should I hire bodyguards for you? I naively believed Tom still had a shred of sanity left, so I refused. That was a mistake. At the company gate, Tom screamed my name, his eyes bloodshot and wild. He was causing a scene, disturbing the entire staff, so I was forced to step outside to de-escalate the situation. The stench of cheap alcohol hit me before he did. He looked at me with a terrifying obsession, his fingers digging bruisingly into my arms. Anna, why did you leave me? I cannot live without you. You are my fiancé. Come back to me. We will be together forever. I can start over. I ripped my arm free, my voice ice cold. Tom, there is no relationship between us anymore. You fired me, and you unilaterally canceled the engagement. He broke down, ugly tears of regret streaming down his face. I know I was wrong. Please, just give me another chance. Forgive me, okay? I had no energy left for his theatrics. I simply said no and turned to walk away. I only made it a few steps. A sudden crushing blow to the back of my head turned the world black, and I lost consciousness instantly. I woke to the stinging scent of gasoline. I was bound tightly trapped in the living room of our old newlywed home. Tom stood over me, dousing the carpet in fuel, his eyes fixated on the small dancing flame of a lighter in his palm. Anna, I said I knew I was wrong. Is marrying me not a good thing? Panic surged through me. To stall for time, I lied through my teeth. Tom, I agree. We will get married, just please throw away that lighter first. He stared at me, silent, stretching for a terrifying moment before bursting into maniacal laughter. I know you are tricking me. You just want to escape back to Harry, right, liar? You flipped the page on us so easily. Tom tossed the lit lighter onto the soaked carpet. The fire roared to life, instantly a wall of heat separating us from the world. I have nothing left now, Anna, so let us die together. In the next life, I will marry you again. I screamed in terror as the flames spread. Tom, if you want to die, do not drag me with you. I do not want to die. But the alcohol finally took him. He collapsed on the floor, unconscious to the inferno he created. The door was locked. My limbs were bound, and the toxic smoke was filling my lungs. Darkness took me a second time. The next time I opened my eyes, I was in a hospital bed. Harry lay in the bed next to me, bandaged. The news on the wall-mounted television broadcast the horror of revenge arson plot by a disgraced chief executive officer. Harry had risked everything. He had climbed from the balcony of the adjacent unit to break in and carry me out. Tears welled in my eyes as I looked at him. That was the 15th floor, Harry. It is so dangerous. Why did you not wait for the fire department? Harry coughed weakly, a shy smile touching his lips. Uncle made it clear, if you want to be my son-in-law, the first requirement is to protect Anna with your life. Besides, the situation was critical. Who knew when the firefighters would actually arrive? In my eyes, your safety is the only thing that matters. Overwhelmed with emotion, I pulled him into a gentle embrace. Once Harry recovered, our bond only deepened. It was not long before he formally confessed his feelings, and we officially confirmed our relationship. Harry even made a brief appearance at Tom's funeral. He told me he went to pay his respects, specifically to thank Tom for failing to marry me, leaving me free to belong to him completely. When our families finally gathered to discuss the wedding, my father looked at my mother, the wife he had not seen in years before, shooting a knowing glance at Harry. He smiled. Well done. Mission accomplished perfectly.